A form of muscular dystrophy known as FSH affects about 870,000 individuals worldwide. That includes a youth baseball coach from New Berlin you're about to meet. His frame of mind for himself and his young players is about playing fearless.
All right. Watch your fingers. When I go and coach and bring all the equipment, which I love my gear, so I bring all the gear. Buckets, want to get that one? That one's heavier anyway. Haha. It's a big struggle. Lordy. I have this dugout caddy that's an awesome organizer for the kids, puts all their helmets and whatnot in there. But for it to work right, it has to be hung on the fence line. So if I have to take that and hang it anything above my eyebrow line, basically, with the weight of that piece of gear and hook it one hook at a time as I go, it's very difficult. The reaching part of the disease is really what affects me. You know, I don't want to ask for help, and I find myself doing it as quickly as I can because I don't want the kids to notice. I'm Tim Hollenbach, and I live with something called FSHD, which is facioscapulohumeral muscular dystrophy. It affects your face, your scapula, your back area, and then your humeral, or they say trunk. You know, it can affect your legs. So for me, it affects mostly my shoulder blade area and arms. And basically, it is a muscle wasting disease that you're born with. It's not autoimmune. You have a DNA glitch. There is no cure and there is no treatment. It wasn't until I was 40 when I was throwing a football in my yard with my kids. Felt like my arm disconnected with the ball, and a shock of pain went up my arm, and I thought, wow, what was that? Once I was diagnosed, and then I had that hindsight and I could look back, and I was like, wow, I couldn't do a push-up when I was like 10. Or a pull-up even, or anything. I couldn't lift my own muscle mass at that time, thinking, well, I'm just a weak guy. You have to keep moving. Don't have a lifestyle where you're sitting a lot. All right, you guys ready to play?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, good. This whole disease is about compensating, the whole thing. You just adapt. You don't even realize you're adapting.
Play ball!
I just like baseball.
Hey, Justin. Slide out a little bit. Yeah, you got to play the space. You're fast enough. You can get to one. Hey, keep your head in there, Mikey. Keep your head in there.
Usually a third base coach is relatively active. You know, you got to make sure you're visual to the base runners. So you're moving your body, trying to get in line, so as they're rounding that second base, they can see you immediately. So I'm trying to move and do those things, but I'm not swift in my movements.
Come on. There's 2 outs. You got to be on your horse, kid. Roll it, round it. Hold it. Hold it. Good.
I think I'm trying to hide it the best I can. I don't want the kids to see, oh, coach is kind of sore. Is he all right? I don't want it to be a distraction. It's not about me. It's supposed to be about the kids and playing ball. You can change lives. It's not about the wins, the losses. It's about the impact. And I totally believe that, 100%.
He never brings us down, and he doesn't yell at us. He doesn't get mad at us.
Play a little deep. There you go. Gloves out in front, boys. Let's go.
Run it out, Nolan. All the way.
Remember, offense, you guys average like 13 runs a game, right? Yeah. Answer back. Ready? 1, 2, 3.
He tells us all to play fearless.
Playing fearless was the theme this year. The kind of coach I am, I learned this from my mentor, coach, and friend, was find something that they can buy into. Sorry. I noticed that they were a little scared. Scared in the box, scared to hit, scared to field. And I thought, where does that fear come from? It can't just be from injury. It was also a fear of failure, fear of letting someone down, maybe even letting me down. So I thought about through the whole off season, And I thought, what can I do to help them? Not cure them, because we all have fear. You can't cure that. But how do you face it? Turn fear into courage. So I made a sword out of wood, and I painted it team colors, cut the end of a bat off, turned it into a sword with a bat handle, and put all their numbers on it, and made it so it could weather the season. And it got passed from player to player. That earned the Fearless trophy. I have to be fearless in fighting this the best way. It's a huge positive boost. And all of a sudden, I'm just Coach Tim again. I'm not the guy at the FSH. Let's go. Thank you all for joining me. Thanks for being here today on the FSH Society Radio Show. Hope I'm coming in loud and clear. As you know, I'm a baseball coach, and during the season, we kind of pushed the time back a little bit. I host a podcast for the FSH Society. So FSH Society briefly is out of Massachusetts. They're a grassroots volunteer group that helps raise money and awareness to fight this disease. And when I was on that website for the FSH Society, one of the first things I was looking for was a podcast, because that's how I learn. I learn by listening, and I didn't see one. And I thought, well, that's a shame. There should be a podcast for this, for people that have this. So I emailed them and said, love the site. You don't have a podcast, and maybe you should, and I'd love to host it. What we have in store today is a great guest from NFL Films. The show airs just once a month, and we thought, why not Facebook Live? We're going to take a quick break, and we'll be right back. You're listening to the FSH Society Radio Show. I like the live aspect of the podcast. Mic goes on, I say the juice starts to flow a little bit. I get a little excited, nervous at the same time. Hope the equipment works. Let's go. Well, just like coaching. Okay, we got the game, we got the equipment up. All right, let's go. We just play now, and just kind of let it go. Just let it happen. Courage is, you got to face that fear and go forward anyhow. Podcasting, it just taps me into that community that knows exactly how I feel. For me, coaching is a personal, selfish, almost distraction. It helps me get through. It helps me feel, lack of a better word, I guess, normal or full-bodied, full strength.
There you go.
Without those two things, I would not be a happy person.
Nice.
Whatever you do, kind of play fearless, and that's really what we all have to learn by it. Is play fearless in your life and in the actions and the things you do.